where are we sitting with the community police?
Community policing grant.
Well, now that depends on who you talk to and which state office. Pretty much, though, I think the scale is tipping towards the town can do what they want with it at this point.
I would like to see that money used for community policing.
Well, based on the action that we just took, you may well get to see that, Charlie. Because we no longer need to fund Article 1, do we?
I think we have the money in the budget already.
Not only that, but we can use it for the collective bargaining stuff, can we not? Because we're basically paying our employees to do work
Could I?
We could do
above and
that.
beyond a little bit.
We have a major speeding problem in this town. And we do not have anywhere as near the number of police officers to cover it, the number of cruisers to cover it, or whatever. People cut across from 23 over Jug End Road doing 50, 55 miles an hour. I'm waiting for a car to hit that corner, go over that corner and go right into the house down the street. Brian did something over on the Egremont Sheffield Road with the one speed radar that we have. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering how many of those we could purchase that have the flashing lights that you could post permanently in strategic locations, where the town would really benefit from that. I think we've got a police force, we've done a collective bargaining agreement, and I personally believe that we need to go before the town to raise and appropriate that money. I think this grant money, let's use it for what it was really intended for in the first place, to do community policing. There's some really, I think, with what Brian and the other officers have done in the short time they've had to do it has been pretty spectacular, and I think given that kind of money, I think they could do even better things for the town.
I see Brian out in the hall. I'm going to put you on the spot, Brian, but do you have any idea what those...
How much those board cost?
Not cheap.
They're not cheap, no.
No, but they're not real expensive relative to do that.
Now, the one we used for the survey, the road survey, was very expensive, but that's we borrowed that. So, but we have another one of those boards. We have one that we purchased as part granted. There's a split on that. We haven't been using that board all summer, so it's time to go get it.
I looked too at the one in Monterey. When you drive into the center of Monterey, they got the one on the telephone pole.
That's a fixed unit, kind of.
Yeah, it's a fixed unit, but I'll tell you, if you're doing speed limit's 25, if you're doing 26, little lights come on. It gets your attention.
Right, so let's throw that on the agenda for October and do some research on what those...
Okay. Yeah, I've gotten good reports on that, on the Sheffield Road. That people notice the difference in the cars going by with that sign flashing at them.
Interesting. The other one had some blue lights or something on it.
Yeah, that was the one that had to do the survey. That board is about $8,000.
Yeah.
That's self-contained, has solar panels on it, records all the information in vehicles traveling, speed, time. And I have that report.
So $58,000 can buy a couple of those.
Just one or two would make a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to the Article 1.
Do we just bypass this? Do we have to move to bypass it, or what?
Yeah.
We will have to at the meeting. Don't make that definite, though, tonight. Let me look at the budget and make sure that we don't need to put any money there.
Second one's a given. Yes, Laura.
I don't know how much I don't have the expenditure report to know how much is left in Rena's line item salary budget. I would assume whatever that balance is, it's enough to cover Brian until the end of June.
Yeah, I'm not
Provided
going
the
to assume
numbers.
that myself. So
No, but
I'm at a
before you
loss.
check the numbers,
Yeah.
okay. But that's what you're planning on doing. Is there gonna be any problem with paying Rena any type of,
Don't know,
yeah, okay.
don't know.
If there is, we'll be having another town meeting.
This could be the
What's involved in severance pay?
Can I answer that? She doesn't have a contract, so there's technically no severance pay involved right now. There was severance pay included in the agreement, which has failed to be signed.
She hasn't had a contract for almost 10 years.
So, there's a lot of ifs, and if we have to appropriate money, we'll have to go before town meeting. And that
No, I'm
will
just
be a town
wondering,
meeting
so-
decision.
Basically, if everything,
Don't know.
that Article 1 will be bypassed,
Well,
maybe, okay.
That's-
You'll let me know on Monday.
Well, yeah, I'll let you know before Monday.
Okay.
second one is, have to do. Not much to talk about there.
So, first question, we're gonna raise and appropriate everything, right? We haven't set the tax
Yeah.
rate, we legally do that.
And we don't have
We
any
haven't
free
got our
cash.
free cash
Yeah, there's
certified,
no-
we
The
did
only
have some
other pot of money we
stabilization.
have is stabilization, and I prefer not to use that. So. And the next one is collective bargaining.
Yeah, you know, just to be prepared, it's not just collective bargaining,
Right.
which is what I've
No,
been
it's-
trying to explain to people. There's a lot of question about this article because there seems to be some misinformation out in the public that we are actually raising again the total police budget. We are not. We're gonna need to make that clear. We are only raising the $22,687. We've already raised
Right.
1.4.
I
I've had a
think
lot-
that's
I'm-
pretty clear, but no?
Something's not clear.
Oh.
I don't know who's putting it out there, but I've had a lot of questions about that.
I guess
So just be prepared to answer that at the meeting.
I'm troubled by the fact that this was a financial issue. 4 of the 6 finance committee members made no recommendation. And we got a bylaw in the town where all warrant articles are recommended to the finance committee for a recommendation.
It's inconclusive between the law, Massachusetts General Law 3916, and the bylaws in terms of making a recommendation, considering all financial articles which may have an impact on the town. Past practice has been, and this has happened most recently in May with respect to the $15,000 that was asked to be appropriated for the interim police chief, where the finance committee voted to make no recommendation with respect to that article. What the finance committee considered this time was basically the same thing. We had the acting police chief article, and then we had the police department budget article, which many finance committee members felt should not be raised. And rather than vote no for no into yes, we voted not to make a recommendation until the townspeople decide what they wanted to do with respect to this article.
Well, two did vote yes.
Yes, that's what I said.
So the committee did,
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
You
Shoot.
cannot make a point of order from the floor.
No,
You're not
there's
a
2 of
member
us.
the
Now we're
committee.
starting to deliberate.
No, we're asking.
Point of order can be made from the floor. That's the
No, you
point.
can't, because you're not a participant in this meeting.
This was
So Mr.
determined at the
Bendazir.
last meeting by Mr. Kumsky.
Well, let me point out, you're
That only
dangerously close to a
participant.
violation of the open meeting law here, and you should take that seriously. There are 4
Why is
members of the
that?
finance committee here, and you're talking about financial matters.
But you can, if you read the open meeting law, it says, other committee members can attend another committee's meeting. Yep. And there's no deliberations happening.
You ought to really read it, Richard.
I've read it many times,
So,
Mr. Flynn.
Mike, you have something to say?
simply point out that wasn't the committee's recommendation an open meeting, no recommendation. It was-
No, it was 2 voted for, if you
Yeah,
look at the
Michael
thing,
had the
and
floor.
4
Can we
voted.
hear,
No,
can
no,
we hear
go-
from Michael
Oh, I'm
first?
sorry, Michael.
I just wanted to point out that 2 of us did recommend, or were willing to recommend, said yes, in fact,
Okay.
and 4 said no. So is that
We voted to make no recommendation as opposed to voting no. We were sitting there and deliberating and going back and forth
We,
in
the
terms of
majority
what
the committee
increasing
did
the
so.
budget
That's
meant, what it
excuse
didn't
me.
mean.
This is my meeting. So let me ask you this. The finance committee voted to make no recommendation and two voted to make a recommendation. It would seem to me that the no recommendation is not a vote to do anything.
That's right.
And it's a vote, so you have in fact two people in favor.
And 4 people
and
not
four
wanting.
people not voting.
Right.
So it seems to me that's a positive vote in my,
You can look at it that way. So you can look at it that way, a positive vote would have been, you know,
Positive vote to
4 out of
support them.
6, but, yeah.
the four voted to do nothing, basically.
This actually has to be adjusted too, or the chief's expenses. Does what we did tonight impact that?
No.
I don't know, I mean, that budget item has been level funded for several years anyways. My
Okay.
guess would be no.
Or how about the salary?
The salary? I don't know. We're only gonna know that when we've hired a new chief and
And then we'll have to ask for more. We'll do something different. Okay.
Let me ask this question, okay? We've just voted to terminate Chief Bucknell. Do we wish to continue with the 20 hours a week through the part-time through the 31st of December? And then try to hire a full-time after the 31st?
I think this should be a topic of discussion at our next meeting.
Put it on the next agenda?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So then we can prepare for it. As far as I'm concerned now, any additional expenses concerned with that issue will be, have to come before town meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Highway personnel member C. Let me ask you this, in light of what's happened recently, do we need to appropriate that?
maybe not. It's a well, you know, it depends. I mean, if we're going to promote from within, then we would be filling this position and we might not pay them at the same rate. I don't know. You know, it's all kind of contingent upon.
What's member C's rate? He's off the top of his head. He's kinda, I don't think
He's
he's
below it right now.
one of the lower ends of the, he almost came in as a starting salary.
Yeah,
Although
because
we
he was
bumped him up
young, no
pretty well.
experience. Hasn't been here very long either now.
No, but I think we gave him an increase when he got his licenses and that kind of stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know what his rate is.
But don't we have somebody already within, say if they did go up, we'd still save money? I guess we got some math to do, huh, between now and
Yeah.
Monday night?
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
Well,
I do.
The fact of the matter is if we move people around to A, B, and C or whatever, we still C is fixed salary. So we'd have to hire somebody in at less than the current C members' pay,
Right.
because we really can't go flipping around in between, so. So you're gonna do some math.
Yep.
Alrighty. Of course, for veterans, that's not a problem. Naming of the police facility. Alright, Article 7, there seems to be some discussion. Is this okay? Are we gonna have to amend it, or?
My understanding from Rob Warren at the Nature Conservancy, there is no amendment required. I think he's explained it, hopefully, to the satisfaction of the Finance Committee. And there will be a representative from the Nature Conservancy at the meeting to speak to this.
Yeah, I could confirm what Mary said, because I've been speaking both to the Sheffield person who's gonna be there, as well as their Boston office, Rob. And the bottom line is the town will not be out any cash. The first $50,000 does come from the Nature Conservancy through the town, and that's a requirement to make the purchase. And the note, which we have to issue, is only going to be issued upon that binding commitment being approved and received by us, so that that $50,000 short-term loan will only be outstanding for a few short days or weeks and then fully repaid. And it's a zero-interest loan. So in effect, the town is assuming no financial obligation in this whole transaction. All the financial risk is the Nature Conservancy.
We're the ones that end up with the property. We have to give the grant money to pay for it. The way I understand is they're effectively giving us grant.
That's
pay
right.
for it.
That's right. The 50,000.
They're giving 50, we're getting a state grant for 50, they're granting us 50, we purchase the property. The town of Eaglemont's free and clear.
Yeah, that's right. And then
And
the
they're
loan,
gonna
the
do
loan
it.
is coming from the Nature Conservancy to us, and then we're going to repay with the grant. It's a little complicated, but the end result is.
Some convoluted,
Right.
interesting financials, but the effect is, the grant that we get from the state is 50, Nature Conservancy is 50, we own the property.
Quick question, do we have to have a secret ballot for this
And if
$50,000?
it's a borrowing, which
Yeah, it's a borrowing.
effectively it is,
Yeah, I'm wondering, we
it's a
probably should, just to be
two-thirds secret
safe.
ballot. Somebody should tell Tommy that.
Mr. Chairman, question, just procedurally at town meeting, does the entire warrant article have to be read?
No,
Okay, there's a way to,
somebody can move it as printed,
okay.
so. I hope people can read it. I think it's probably gonna, if you read it, it's more confusing than if somebody stands up and
Yeah, that's a good point, it
does
is,
some
it's wordy.
explanation. It's a lot of wordy and there's a lot of mechanics to get to the fact that we're getting grant money, they're contributing, we own the property.
I have drafted a short explanation, if that helps. It's a paragraph that cuts through a lot of that stuff that, you know, the average taxpayer I think will quickly understand if I can send that to somebody. If that's helpful.
Yeah, or, yeah, if you wanna send it to Mary, we can print it out for that night.
I'll send it, do with it as you will.
Maybe worth your while to stand up and read it if you
I
like.
could do that too.
Okay.
That might be even better, but
Sure.
send it to us, we'll have a printed copy, but if you stood up and,
Yeah, because I got the Nature Conservancy guy there, and I've spoken to the Boston office, so I can, him and I can cover both.
yeah.
Great. All right, Robert's Rules of Order.
I think